Hi, this is the bad boy, Joey Janela, and you're listening to the Going in Raw podcast. Joey Janela always goes in.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Going in Raw.
Hey everyone, Kenny Omega here. In case you didn't know, we have an awesome kick-butt show called Steve and Larson's Going in Raw, and they're going to be supporting AEW every week amongst many other things. Goodbye and smooch. Good night. Bye-bye.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Lars.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson, taped live at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson, and of course, found wherever audio podcasts can be found. An eventful AEW Dynamite tonight on the road to All Out.
It was definitely something.
It was. I thought that it was. I actually really enjoyed Dynamite tonight.
I thought there were some really good parts. The MJF Mox contract signing went on about twice as long that it probably needed to.
I didn't like. So I got such a negative backlash when I tweeted out that I thought MJF was just talking forever.
He talked a lot,
but once he stopped talking, I thought it was great. I thought Mox was actually really effective and efficient with his words.
Yeah, MJF wasn't.
And he wasn't at all. Like the number of times he said, John, it was grating to me. But the lawyer was hilarious, and I loved the twist with the lawyer. He gets a match next week. I thought they got the perfect dude to be annoying lawyer, and I really like it.
They did.
I hope they don't even give him a name. I just want him to be called lawyer.
Annoying lawyer. Yeah.
Exactly. But no, Hangman, finally, they did sort of a big turn with Hangman. He prevented the Young Bucks from being able to potentially move on in that Gauntlet match.
Yes.
And deny them an opportunity at his tag team championship with Kenny
yes,
Omega.
Of course, that all goes back to conversation with the FTR last week, where they went on and on telling Hangman that if he and Kenny faced the Bucks at All Out, if they were to lose, he'd be right back in the Young Bucks shadow like he was before. And you could tell Page did not feel good about what he did. He looked like he had been crying, or he was about to cry.
Well, even when he came out there and he did the deed.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He looked upset.
Yeah, he looked devastated, or just also partially inebriated.
It's probably both.
And then later on, they approach him in the bar, toss a drink in his face, and say,
"You're toss him out of the Elite."
They say you're an alcoholic. You're out of here. So and then he looks into the symbolic broken mirror,
the Mojo Rawley / cover of that one Black Flag album.
Damage. Yeah. I forget if the Iron Man there's the classic Iron Man comic book cover.
Oh, and he was drunk, right?
I don't think it was a broken mirror though. I think it was just a mirror.
Just a mirror.
But he looked a wreck.
Yeah, he looked awful.
He looked really bad. So yeah, Hangman is now officially out of the Elite. I kind of wanted to start there just to get your thoughts. Earlier today when we were talking about a preview, I was wondering if it would be possible at all for them to walk the finish of this Gauntlet so that you get the Young Bucks and FTR in this match. We kind of both figured that FTR was going to be moving on. The Young Bucks seemingly without much to do beyond maybe some Dark Order business, perhaps. That feels like it's beneath the situation.
They're in a match at... Is it next week? No, at All Out, where it's with the teams. It's them and the Jurassic Express taking on SCU and it was right there on the tip of my tongue. The other team, and then the winning four-man team will then face each other either the following week on Dynamite, I think it was.
Okay.
So that's the program for that. It's
okay,
SCU
I didn't notice that. Okay.
The other team. Gosh darn it.
Private Party.
The other team. Private Party. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Hunter V. Oh, that's interesting. Phil the Thriller in chat says Sean Ross Sapp said the lawyer is the third guy on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, if I'm correct. And apparently his name is Mark Sterling. So the winners face each other at All Out.
At All Out, okay.
Okay, all right. So that's cool. I mean, that's good. That's something for them to do. It still feels like they should be more involved sort of in a pivotal manner in the storyline, but I guess this is sort of their thing.
I mean, they'll make an appearance during this tag title match at All Out. They will either try to return the favor to Page for costing them the belt or something. And then you got
Maybe
Kenny, who's already kind of on edge, on the verge of doing something crazy. Is a volatile situation. To say the
I
least.
kind of feel like we're not going to see the Young Bucks get involved. I don't think they need. I don't think they should. I don't think they need to get involved in this match because Hangman is obviously an emotional wreck. That enough is, I think, is going to spell the end of that tag team and their title reign.
It's just not Page who's emotional wreck. Kenny's got something going on too.
Kenny's
he feels
a mess.
like he's the weak link now. They haven't really said this explicitly, but just based on the match last week, where every time he got in the ring, basically his team lost the upper hand. So that's a volatile situation by itself. But that's the Young Bucks MO. They always kind of insert themselves kayfabe wise in situations they don't need to be there. That's what they've done. That's the whole thing with them and then Kenny and Page. They always just kind of insert themselves in the whole situation.
Yeah, sometimes they just mill on down. You're right.
That's totally going to happen. It's totally going to happen.
So yeah, we'll just hop right into it. It kicked off with the tag gauntlet match. Kicked off with the Young Bucks versus the Natural Nightmares. A lot of QT Marshall in this match, Larson.
Yeah.
He goes for his QT special, misses, eats a bunch of super kicks. In the end, though, he falls victim to the BTE trigger, and the Bucks get the pin there. They advance to take on the bestest of friends.
Dun, dun, dun. So the best friends have the upper hand at first, of course. They're fresh. They didn't just have a match until Chuck jumps off the top, sells knee. That would come into play later, more so in this match. A lot of good back and forth here. As it stands, though, as we mentioned, the head of the show, Hangman Page comes out, holds on to Nick's ankle as they're setting up for the Meltzer driver. That allows Trent to roll up Matt to get the win. And yeah, Hangman just looked devastated.
He looked a wreck. He couldn't even. And it was a great little bit of blocking too, because as he was holding Nick's leg, he was turning away like this. Like, I can't look at you.
Yeah.
I can't watch this happen, and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It was really good. I really liked it.
I like the shot of, because he didn't, when he left, he walked by himself, of course. They found like an empty piece of, or a section of concourse of seats. So he walked up there all by himself with a spotlight, on him. It was really well done. I thought the whole segment was really well done.
What did you think? We'll talk about this really quick because there's no there's no obvious point to talk about it beyond whatever the fans. They had the fans.
I didn't
in
notice
there.
a huge change.
Neither
difference.
did I. I thought that they were actually kind of useless. It's nice, I guess, the sentiment for them to be there. I guess in my head, I just think I read an article, not to bring it down, dude, but I read an article about some convention that went down with like 200 professionals.
Oh, that was the one in Boston back when the
Boston.
outbreak first happened, and led to like 20,000 cases or
Like
something like
20,000 cases. So now when I think about several hundred people getting together, I just think it's going to be a super spreader.
that. Yeah, I know.
But I try not to. I try just to keep it fun. But yeah, I was actually kind of surprised how little they factored into anything. It just made it seem like a sparsely
if there's
populated wrestling show.
500 people at a 5,000 seat venue that's large and outdoors, so whatever noise they make is going to travel upwards and to the heavens. They're not going to make a massive impact, if you will.
Yeah.
And there's several instances where someone was playing to the crowd. I'm like, what are they doing? Oh, there's people there. Like when I think it was the first match when Matt got on the top rope and he did this to the crowd. Like, what's he pointing at? Oh,
What's he pointing at?
There's fans there.
Is there a plane going by or something?
Yeah, no, I didn't know the Daly's place is in the flight path of the Jacksonville airport.
There you go. So after that, Best Friends had FTR to counter with. I did not see this part of the match. My stepkids showed up, and they just were kind of all in my business.
Oh, it was just all about FTR working over Chuck's knee.
Okay.
And then Dax puts him in a knee bar. And he tries to get the ropes. He's really close, and Cash is like crap talking. Hey, you're almost there. You're almost there. And then
funny.
Chuck just taps.
Oh,
He was almost there. He was like 18 inches away from the bottom rope. He just taps.
oh, poor
FTR
Chuck.
wins.
Yeah.
It was a pretty quick match. Not much to it.
This next thing was great. This was amazing. So Lance Archer, was this Sean Maluta?
Yeah, it was. But you bypassed this video where Darby Allin is
Oh yeah.
walking around. He puts his jacket on. He still has thumbtacks at his back. and he climbs up to a top of the bridge, not where you transport from side to side,
God.
to the top.
Yeah.
And then jumps off, and there's a voiceover. He's pretty much saying, "You think I'm afraid, Ricky Starks? I'm going to show you I'm not afraid of anything."
Yeesh. Man.
Anyways, yes, Lance Archer bit.
So Lance Archer just completely destroys Sean Maluta.
He did some water spitting too.
Oh yeah, he did. That's right.
Just a little bit.
That's gross.
That's probably not the time to be doing it right now.
No, probably not. He gives him like a massive.
That choke slam he gave him was something else.
Gave him a nasty choke slam. Goes for 3, but then pulls him up.
And then blackout, and then the iron claw thing. Yeah.
Starts like ramming his head. It was just an absolute mauling. Jake was in the corner. Of course, Jericho's on commentary. He was great. Jake was in the corner just laughing it up the entire time. So after he finally pins Maluta for 3, Jake gets on the mic. It's like, goddamn, feeding Lance Archer is like feeding a wood chipper. Toss a big log in, confetti comes out. So anyways, he's going on, and then he gets interrupted by Team Taz, Brian Cage, and Ricky Starks. And these two just are going at it on the mic, and it's just a mess. This is like one of the
massive mess, yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, maybe some bullet points. I mean, I imagine they probably just are both given, what idea do you have to go out there? Okay, just go do it. Maybe just on some paper, put some bullet points down. I'm not advocating scripted promos. You know what also kind of disappoints me about this? So this was all about they're doing the Casino Battle Royal.
All out again. Yeah, the winner gets the title shot. Yeah,
right. Which is great, but man, how is Archer versus Brian Cage for the FTW title not a singles match? And on the other hand, Darby Allin and Ricky Stark should be in a singles match at All Out too. It feels like they're kind of they're all too big for this Casino Battle Royal match.
In a sense, yes, but then you realize that the winner in fact gets a title shot. That's kind of a big deal.
Don't all 4 of these guys cancel each other out in terms of who wins this match?
Oh, probably.
That's my thoughts on it anyways. Yeah. I don't know what's going through your little hamster wheel.
No, I agree. I said probably, yeah. That's probably the case. When you got 4 people in the ring and they all cancel each other out.
Mm-hmm. Man, I just they will probably get to it after the fact because these are 2 really cool feuds. But man, I really want Cage to put that FTW title up.
And I really want Lance Archer to win it.
And him and Lance Archer, that's a killer match.
They should trade it back and forth a few times, man.
I agree. I totally agree. I think it'd
just
be fantastic.
Really, really stiff, violent matches.
Mm-hmm.
Not hardcore matches.
Really
violent matches. Trade that belt a few times. Really establish it as a belt for badasses.
I'm just a really big fan of all 4 of these guys.
Yeah, totally.
I think they're all just terrific, and I want to see them in matches. Anyways, when I think of Casino Battle Royal, I just think a grand old time. Just everybody goofing. I don't want goofing with these guys.
No, they'll be goofing to begin, and then Lance Archer will get in and then eliminate everybody that's in the ring at the time.
Yeah, it could be. Anyways, then we see MJF getting ready for the contract signing. He gets mad at one of his staffers there for
Lee Johnson.
Oh yes, Lee Johnson, for smiling or something. I don't know what it was. Anyways, then we had this really great Thunder Rosa Hikaru Shida video package with a voiceover appearance by Billy Corgan talking about the NWA possibilities. That was cool stuff.
I wrote one line down because I thought it was probably the most important, meaningful thing that Billy had to say. He said, "I appreciate the chance for these 2 promotions to work together." Mm-hmm. If nothing else, I imagine this is good for the NWA because it kind of keeps the NWA afloat, at least in the minds of wrestling fans.
Maintains its relevancy. That's important. Yes. That's super important because what did somebody say just the other day when Wade Barrett showed up on NXT? Is this going to be the 4th promotion that Wade Barrett commentates for that goes under? There might be a perception out there that the NWA is no longer a thing. And you're right. How cool would it be? You got 20 people in this battle royal. AEW's not afraid to bring in people from the outside. Let's see a couple people from NWA
Josephus.
in this battle royal. Let's see Josie. Let's see Zicky Dice in this battle royal, Larson.
Sure. Yeah. 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 That's good.
Right?
Yeah.
Who else is in the NWA that we like? Like Nick Aldis is kind of too big for that.
Yeah, he is.
He's too busy blasting the creative of WWE for mistreating his wife.
I know. So Zicky's good. Josephus is good.
Mm-hmm. About Sandow. What's his real name?
Aaron Stevens.
Yes, that guy.
That's a good call. All good calls.
All
see
good
it.
calls. Yeah, do it.
So after that, I kind of wish, like, especially given how much time they gave the MJF Mox contract signing, they'd given a little bit more time to this Thunder Rosa Hikaru Shida contract signing. It was like 30 seconds.
It was a little on the short side, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, it was backstage. It was shot well. I mean, this whole thing was shot well. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was a really neat video package. Felt more like a really, really short film.
Yeah, but give the contract signing a little bit more.
Yeah.
Especially when they overdid it with this MJF and Mox thing that followed directly after.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, after that was the MJF Mox contract signing. MJF just talks a lot. He basically he says, Mox, this is after he's already said a lot. He calls Mox a one-trick pony. He said he thought that's what he was. He says, but I was wrong. You're good. You're really good. You're a badass. He says, but here's the difference between you and I. You grew up you came up idolizing extreme wrestlers, guys like New Jack, Zandig. They're garbage.
Oh,
he says,
Onita,
yeah.
He said Onita, too.
He says, I studied real wrestlers like Ernie Ladd, Tully Blanchard. Then he just keeps on talking.
The idea basically is like he's saying, oh, my ring IQ is too high for me to do what you want me to do, which is go outside, which is your area of expertise. That's your strong suit. You're the hardcore wrestler. You're the wrestler who likes extreme violence. MJF says, I'm the technical guy. I'm going to keep you in the ring. And he says, at the end of all out, he'll be champ. But if Mox thinks he's a better wrestler than MJF, then why would he need that one move in order to beat him? Says unless he's not man enough to beat him without the paradigm shift. And if that's the case, maybe he should tell his wife that he's single. That Mox stands up. MJF's lawyer speaks up, tells him to hold on, no violence. Mox then calls Mr. Lawyer a dickwad. He refers to Wardlow as Flex Magazine.
Yeah.
He said, but should I sign the deal? I don't know. Do I need the paradigm shift to win? No. He says MJF is trying to take away his most dangerous move, but he's really doing is forcing Mox to be creative of all the ways that he could hurt him. So he's going to go ahead, sign the contract. Remember, nothing. This is really pointed on Mox's part. Nothing MJF says matters, and nothing he signs matters. On September 15th, says he's a dead man. He signs the deal. And as soon as pen hits paper, MJF starts laughing. Everybody on his team is laughing. MJF calls him an idiot. Mox was like, yeah, it was a good contract signing. It was good business. Oh, I added something on page 17. MJF apparently didn't read it, nor did his lawyer. What's going to happen is next week there's a tune-up match. Mox versus Mr. Lawyer. And if Mr. Lawyer doesn't show up, MJF doesn't get his match. And oh, yeah, paradigm shift will be legal. And then Mox like, yeah, maybe I should be a lawyer.
Yeah, it was good stuff. I really liked it. Like once Mox started talking, I really liked it.
I feel like if MJF's bit had been cut by half, it would have been a pretty good segment.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do. I think that if he used if he was just more efficient with what he was saying, like, the point sound, but, get to it, man. Yeah, the Dictator John stuff just doesn't do anything.
This whole campaign thing just isn't. It's not for me.
Yeah. After that, we had what is this? 8-man action.
There was a Santana and Ortiz promo before that.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Talking about after they wrecked Sue's van, that Best Friends is like, hey, you should apologize. And Santana's like, really, that's the best you can come up with. So this whole beef wasn't really about them, but they stepped up the inner circle. So now it is. And Ortiz says, you want me to apologize? The only thing I'm sorry for is that Sue wasn't in the van when we wrecked it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then the eight-man tag match.
Yeah, which was preceded during the entrances by just, God, I could watch Eddie Kingston talk all day long.
He's so good.
All day long. He could read the phone book, and I'd be into it, man. Like, I actually, you know what? As of late, I've actually kind of enjoyed Mox's promos. When Mox has a point, he's really effective.
Yeah, he can be when he's got something clear and succinct and and distinct.
Like, I liked how he got the point across about, you took my paradigm shift away, but you kind of screwed yourself because now I just have to be creative with how I'm going to take you apart limb by limb. With Eddie Kingston, like, I'd love to see these two just go at it promo-wise. That's why I'm kind of bummed out that, like, Eddie is, I mean, I know that he's a wrestler, but, like, right now it seems like he's in manager position.
He's a motivator position, I feel like.
Yeah. But even if he were the mouthpiece for one of these wrestlers to take on Mox, I want to see a Mox versus Kingston promo off thing.
Definitely. But after this match, before the match, his promo, he makes a point of saying this sport is all about titles, and that's what we're after, all of us, myself included. So he's not trying to say that he's not a wrestler at any point. He's, in fact, saying that he himself wants to go after championships. But like the promo beforehand, he was like, hey, people are talking about this faction. He says, grow up, people. These are people that I've known before AEW. What I was seeing wasn't to my liking. The sport is all about titles, championships. That's what we're all after. That's what I'm after. And I'm going to make sure I lead us all there.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. Really good stuff.
Oh, man. The gravitas, the charisma is off the charts, man.
It really is. It
off
really
the charts.
It's next level. So, yeah, this is like a fun match. Kind of what you expect. A lot of cool stuff going on here.
Yeah, and you expect the heel team of Lucha Bros and Butcher and the Blade to get the win, and that's what happened.
Yep.
There's a lot of really cool stuff Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss did. They're a good tag team.
They're a lot of fun. I like that Jericho called Janela a skid. It made me laugh.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, no, they're fun. Sonny Kiss is a hell of a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. So Lucha Brothers hit Pillman Jr. with their finish or version of it to get the win. Then Eddie Kingston hits the ring, demands the ref raises their arms and the Butcher and Blade's arms, and he says all of them at the Casino Battle Royale, and one of them is going to win it.
If it were any of those guys, wouldn't it have to be...
Or Phoenix. In terms, I mean, if Mox is still champ, then yeah, it's got to be Penta.
I would love to see that with Eddie Kingston and those guys backing him. That's what I want to see, man. That's good stuff. Because
they've shown zero indication they have any interest in pushing Penta or Phoenix as solo wrestlers. So that's the only issue.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, if they're all going to be
utterly spectacular as solo wrestlers.
So you got these four. You got the four that we talked about before.
That's 8 of the. Was it Fields 20?
Yeah,
that's what they said.
You got Zicky Dice, and who did you say?
Josephus.
Or is it just? Or you want the question mark?
Josephus.
Oh,
to get
wow.
eliminated
Okay,
early.
good.
Question mark comes out.
Okay, good. So that's 10. We just booked 10 of them.
That's half the field, man.
That's half the field.
So we get a quick Brodie Lee and Cody recap, at the end of which Jericho advises Cody to take 2 weeks off, then quit the business. That was a great line.
That was a really good line, yeah.
And then we get maybe the highlight of the show for me, even though it was a mess, was this Brodie Lee celebration. Brodie Lee is like my favorite thing in AEW right now. Hangman's a close second. But last Dynamite when Brodie won the title, just the way he was carrying himself, throwing chairs all over the place. And the commentary mentioned this, that Brodie Lee reminds him a lot of Bruiser Brody. And that's the kind of stuff Bruiser Brody would do, when he wrestled, is act like an absolute madman. And that's what Brodie Lee is doing. And it's great. And then you showed me that BTE thing today, and they had me crack it up. Hey, what are you doing with your Chili's money? It's so funny.
And they brought millions of dollars in Chili's money.
And they brought that to Dynamite. And if I hadn't seen BTE, I would have been so confused. Why did Stu Grayson buy himself Mustangs? Why did Brodie Lee buy 6 riding lawnmowers for himself?
He said, remember that hug I gave you? I take it back. Why does Brodie Lee seemingly hate John Silver so much? So anyways, they bring a coffin out with them. And the idea is they've ended the Nightmare family. They open the coffin, and inside is 10. He's got the Nightmare family jacket, I think, on his head. He's got a neck tattoo. He comes out. They all laugh. Uno says, Nightmare family is over. All hail Brodie Lee. Brodie walks the stage with Anna Jay. Uno orders everyone to show their appreciation to Brodie. And then Brodie walks, commentary just starts yelling at him, grabs a mic, walks in the ring. Tony's interviewing him. And Tony says, who could take the belt off you?
And Brodie says, if you asked him to look to last December when everybody ridiculed the Dark Order, they were the laughing stock of AEW because of people like you, Tony. I was, like he said, in prison at home because of people like you. He said I was going to do something, and I did it. I told Cody I'd take his title and give him his old one back. I did that. And then Brodie says there's a lot of symbolism here. They bury the Nightmare family. The open challenge is over. All those indie wrestlers can kiss their TV time goodbye. That was great. And Cody will never get that belt back.
That was good.
And then he
stuff.
introduces, the indie wrestler line was great.
Yeah.
He introduces Anna Jay, says she's the Queen Slayer, and then John Silver interrupts.
She's number 99 now, and then Silver gets to him. It's like, man, Brodie, I love you. You're the man, Brodie. And then Brodie destroys him. Pick that piece of shit up.
Yeah. It says, Tony, get out of the ring. Get out of the ring now.
Pick that little shit up.
This part's great. He said, Brodie just starts screaming into the microphone. We are the hottest act in all of pro wrestling. I am the hottest champion in all of pro wrestling.
Yeah. He said, pick that little shit up. Put him back in line.
Yeah, that was so good. So anyways, Dustin comes out, starts brawling.
Idiots.
Oh, that's so good, though.
What are they going to... QT comes out still holding his neck from the BTE trigger.
Yeah. So he comes out, too. They get beat up. Scorpio Sky comes out. He clears the ring, except for Brodie. They have a stare down. Anna Jay gets in the ring. She slaps Scorpio Sky. Brodie decks him. Dark Order are then beating up everybody. And then I wrote Zack Ryder here. Sorry, Matt Cardona comes out. Hits a Rough Rider on Evil Uno on the stage. Hits the ring. He helps Dustin, QT, and Scorpio Sky clear the ring. Looks like we're getting a 8-man tag match next week.
Yeah.
Probably Silver Reynolds and 5 and 10 or something like that.
Yeah, that was really good stuff, dude. So Dasha's up next. She's going to go interview Hangman, who appropriately is at the bar before he really has a chance to say much of anything. The Bucks interrupt, and they're like yelling at him, saying, you know what, man, you're nothing but a drunk. You're an alcoholic. They throw the drink in his face, and they kick him out of the Elite. Matt was being very melodramatic in this situation.
He was. I like this bit. So he's asked, why'd you cost the Bucks their title opportunity? They storm in, and they ask him why. They say, you're just insecure.
They call him insecure. Yeah.
And then Nick says, yeah, maybe once I did call you a jobber, but guess what? Right now, you're being a jobber.
Yeah.
And then Matt says, yeah, you're a drunk.
Should have called him a ham and egger.
Yeah. He said, you never wanted to be friends. You didn't want to be in the Elite. And right now, you're officially out of the Elite. And they kick him out, and they leave, and that's when Page stares at himself with the broken mirror.
Rise above. After that, we're back at the ring. Britt Baker says, hey, Swole, if you can beat Penelope Ford and Rebel tonight, you can choose whatever match you want against me. That didn't work in her favor because
and this match wasn't great.
this match was clunky as shit. Like, it started off weird with Penelope Ford and Swole. They did some weird thing, and Swole came up like holding her hand weird.
Well, like Penelope was trying to do something and then lost her balance or something and fell over.
Yeah. It was kind of a mess.
Like
Rebel actually does a pretty good job because, like, she's supposed to be rusty. She's supposed to be like that. And I think she actually does a really good job. Like, when she got up to the top and was like, oh, I don't know about this. I thought she was very effective in what she was doing. It just doesn't help that, like, the actual match, like the people who are actually supposed to be wrestling were also clunky. So, like, kind of throws it off a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, Jorge D here says Jericho said the bell ringing scared her to try to cover up that Penelope Ford kind of botched that move because that was when the bell rang.
Yeah, they tried to do it. It's what was funny too was so after this, Swole ends up getting the pin on Penelope Ford.
Yeah, because Rebel hit her with the crutch accidentally.
Yeah. So the Dark Order come back out. Evil Uno and a couple of the Dark Order guys come out with Anna Jay. They approach Tay. Is she going by Taya or Tay Conti? Because Jericho was saying Taya, and I thought it was
advertising
Tay.
For the Deadly Draw was Ty
Conti. Okay. Anyways, they have a join us folder with their literature, and they present it to her. And then I assume that she accepts because she took the folder, and then she like sort of nods and gives a big hug to Anna Jay. But then she looks at the folder with a quick, curious look on her face.
Yeah.
So even commentary is like, oh, she's in. Is she? So
yeah,
seems like she's probably going to be in the Dark Order.
Yeah, there's a storyline for her and Anna Jay. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. They announced next week Best Friends versus Santana Ortiz.
This next bit was a mess because JR and Tony kept on getting whether it was going to be next week or at All Out completely off, and Jericho had to keep correcting him every time.
Maybe that's why I thought the Young Bucks match could be at All Out. So next week,
that's probably why. Yeah,
Best Friends versus Santana Ortiz. Jericho says, I need a warm-up match for All Out. I'm going to take on Joey Janela. He says, I'm going to make the bad boy worse. And then Young Bucks and Jurassic Express versus Prep Party SCU. Winning 4-man team will face each other at All Out.
And then we had Sammy Guevara versus
in
Matt
a very
Hardy.
Short table match.
It was short, but it was pretty brutal, man. Talk about a receipt. Because Sammy Guevara, he had a big old gash on the side of his head during this match. And then the end, what was the deal with putting the chair under that table?
That's nasty, man.
That was really ugly.
Yeah. It was a cool spot, but it looked like it sucked.
So here's the thing. It just looked like it sucked. It didn't really add. Like, to me, I'm just like, okay, it just looks like somebody's going to get hurt now. And I don't like that.
What if you put the chair on top of the table?
I would actually prefer that because then they can like aim for the seat. But
or
if
the
you're
back.
Yeah, the back is bad though. You don't.
Yeah,
I don't
in terms of the visual of it, the back is bad, a pain, but the visual of the back is good.
Yeah, the visual, it's bad. I don't like when the visual means you're going to get messed up. Matt Hardy's old enough.
Adam Cole got dropped over the back of a folding chair, and he's fine.
I hated that too. I think they're during the Sammy Guevara Joey Janela match. They were doing all at PWG that we went to. They were doing all sorts of messed up stuff. I think the finish of that was on the back of a chair.
That chair looked like shit at the end of it too. It was busted to hell.
I'm sure their backs look like shit at the end of it too. Not a fan of the back of the chair, Larson.
I'm not either, but from the visual aspect of it, it looks like it's going to hurt because it does.
Yeah.
They're very clear early on that if you go through the table accidentally, match isn't over.
I love that.
Me too.
I love that.
So then we don't get a bunch of false spots where someone's about to go through a table and someone puts on the brakes. Someone goes to the table. It's great.
Because Matt went through a table in this match and it didn't end.
So did Sammy.
It didn't end. Yeah. The twist of fate with the chair on Sammy's neck also really freaked me out.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
I know these guys are professionals, but goddamn, that looked like it sucked.
Yeah, it looked like that really sucked. As someone with a bad neck, I know the enforcer on our stream the other day asked if, having a bad neck, if I see neck spots, it makes me feel worse. In this instance, yes. Because that sucked.
That was rough, man. That
was rougher than the finish for me, that spot, because you could jack yourself up doing that, man.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. So, anyways, it was an oddly short and oddly brutal match.
It was like that spot where sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Mr. Forbes, you mentioned that the spot where Sammy does the tope out of the ring and just goes right through the table. Yeah, that sucked too.
Yeah, I know. Were you surprised at all at the finish here?
No.
So Matt was all messed up and dazed, but he had the wherewithal to put the table up, get a chair under the table, put Sammy on top of the table. He starts to go up. And as he gets to the top, kind of like Rebel, he gets woozy. And Sammy's able to get off the table, capitalize, run up there, and puts Matt through the table. I think maybe it was just the fact that Sammy had that, to kick this off, he had the chair shot to Matt's head. You would think that, okay, there needs to be some comeuppance here, and so Matt would win.
Oh, I think there will still be some comeuppance.
You think this is going to keep going then, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we shall see. Maybe it'll be an all-out match. Or maybe not. There's already a lot of matches.
Maybe on the buy-in.
Yeah, it could be. Or maybe they'll just both be in the Battle Royal and they go out of there. Apparently that's where a bunch of these matches that should be singles matches are
title shots on the line, man. That's kind of a huge deal. So, yeah, Sammy superplexes Matt through the table. He wins. After the bout, Orange Cassidy's music hits. He runs out. No jean jacket. And attacks Chris Jericho on commentary. Refs try to separate him. There's this bit where Jericho's backing up and has one of the refs kind of by his shoulders, his shirt, kind of pulling him along with him. But he's doing it to get him out of the way so that he runs around him and goes and tries to attack Orange Cassidy. Orange reverses it. Ground and pound from Cassidy to end the show.
JR looked legitimately pissed off when
surprised.
There was so much so Cassidy sort of came out of nowhere, right? I don't think JR knew that. He probably knew it was going to happen. I just don't think he expected like 5 refs to be out there and Tony was like, "Come on, JR, we got to go." And he like whacked one of the refs with his hat and was like, "What's going on here?"
Dude, you remember that bit when was it Jay White? Gosh, who was opponent?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it got Josh Barnett so upset that he left commentary.
Didn't he get in the ring or something?
He just about did. I think he got on the apron. Because he thought they were being too rough around JR.
Yeah.
He seemed legit pissed about that.
Yeah, that was such a weird
It
situation.
was really weird.
Anything happens in New Japan. Let's take some questions. I've got a Patreon thread up.
It was Juice Robinson. That's who it was.
Okay, yeah, I would not have remembered that. And I've got Discord open up. I'll hit the Discord first. Let's see what they have to say over there. Oop.
I'll get on Twitch here. Jorge D, go ahead.
Schnauzer says, Jericho comes to the two of you and says he needs each of you to come up with an idea for a gimmick match for him and Cassidy to have in a best of 5 series. What gimmick match do each of you create?
Like a blindfold match, but instead it's sunglasses.
Oh, I was going to say instead of blindfold, it's like, are there such things as orange sacks?
Yeah.
Do people carry oranges and sacks? They do, right?
Yeah, but they're not. You can still see through them. They're like kind of a tight netting.
Oh, well, that sucks then. Never mind.
Yeah, Jorge D, how would you guys fix XLAX and AEW? They're one of the best tag teams in the world, but seem to get nothing significant in AEW. They just got to win. They don't win matches, really.
Yeah, winning is kind of everything.
They
like,
put on
who would have
awesome
thought?
matches and win.
Let me ask you something. Who's in a better spot right now, X-Lax or Butcher and the Blade?
Butcher and the Blade.
Yeah, right. Seems weird, right?
It does.
I'm actually happy about it. Well, I like both teams, though. I like both teams a lot.
Because like XLAX and Lucha Brothers, they really, especially ever since Lucha Brothers had that series with the Young Bucks for the AAA tag titles, they haven't really done anything with them.
If NXT came calling and they were able to get out of their contract, would X-Lax leave right now? And this is obviously knowing that we don't know what's going on inside their head. You'd have to assume that WWE would actually then place a focus on tag team wrestling, which is probably not a good assumption to make.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the reasons they went to AEW versus WWE.
At some point, X-Lax has to be a featured thing on AEW, you'd think.
I would think so.
Excuse me.
But, at the time, maybe it was important to them that they didn't have to work 250 days a year.
Oh, at the time, it was a smart move. At the time, it was absolutely smart. It probably is it's still a smart move. Here's one thing that I'd like to see with the tag titles after All Out is get them, have them go around a little bit. Spread the love around a little bit, Let's see here. Dr. Steve Winter says, sorry if my question sucks. I'm high. What wrestler would you give Plus Crier as their intro theme?
That's not a terrible question. That's a great question.
That's actually really, maybe get high more often when you're going to ask questions. I mean, I honestly kind of feel like Orange Cassidy would be great with Plus Crier.
Just about what I was going to say. It should be Orange Cassidy.
Because it's just like stock music that's evidently royalty free, or at least they're not going to hit us with it because I don't even know
they may not have a publishing company. Beans from the East just popped in. Want to say Young Bucks kicking Hangman out was dumb because he told them a year ago he left. He did, but also he was still kind of with them still. The
impact of I understand. I get it. Like this has been a long time coming. I mean, there's been times when Hangman has acted like he downright doesn't like Matt, specifically. So, but no, yeah, I know. Kind of like he had already quit. I don't remember. I mean, I'm sure at some point in BTE lore, he rejoined them. Well, I guess at Stadium Stampede, he was firmly a member of the Elite.
Yeah.
Greg Morris, with a win over Jericho at All Out, what is Orange Cassidy's ceiling?
TNT title.
Yep. I agree with that.
Dang MQ with Lucha Bros now with Eddie Kingston. What happens to Death Triangle when Pac comes back? I don't know. Maybe Pac. Sorry, Pac. I mean, Pac could he's got a pretty good singles career ahead of him, whether he's at a faction or not. I wouldn't be surprised if he was going to be the guy that get the title shot against Mox at the last pay-per-view instead of Revolution. Was it Revolution?
Yeah,
where Brodie Lee got the title shot.
Revolution wasn't that the first pay-per-view of the year? It's like February.
Yeah, the one where whatever the one Brodie Lee got the title shot.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if Pac was originally slated for that.
Yeah, could
Ouch. Heel Long Heavy. I really wish Shida versus Thunder Rosa was title for title.
Yeah, that'd be rad. Gregory
Fiella?
Filela?
Fiella, I believe.
When
That's how you said it. That's how you said it the other day. Fiella.
Gregory. When Jericho's done wrestling, do you think he'll become a commentator for AEW? No, I don't think so. I think that's too much of a commitment. And I think when he's done wrestling, I think he's going to be full-on rock star.
Yep. Mr. Forbes, does NWA become AEW's second or third show, including Dark? And can you see a Survivor Series type thing happening if it happens?
No, but that'd
Probably
be
not.
cool.
I think Billy Corgan kind of wants his independence.
It'd be really neat if they
NWA.
It'd be really neat if they did some sort of like additional cross promotion stuff, you know?
Yeah.
We already talked about that. Wolfpack for life. This is actually a great question, and I was thinking about this today on my walk. Wolfpack for life asks, if either AEW or NXT stayed on separate nights, how would it affect the ratings of both shows? Larson, do you think, given that NXT ended up with, I think, 850, something like that, on its night alone, and AEW will certainly do better on its night alone.
I mean, they got 700 and change on a Saturday afternoon.
On a Saturday.
That's
on
not
a
a good time spot.
Is there any possibility that TNT and USA would go to the respective companies and say, hey, we want to change the night we don't want you guys running against the other company?
It's entirely possible.
I mean, it seems like it'd be smart for both companies. I mean, well, let me ask you this then also.
Here's one thing, though. Sorry, I'll get this thought out before you.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure there, to a certain extent, neither wants to blink, though. I don't think either are really. Well, I don't think AEW is that concerned with any Wednesday night war that's happening. WWE maybe a little bit, just in terms of perception of them as top wrestling company. The point is, I don't think either of them would be the one to be like, all right, we will be the one to move to a different night.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder. So, okay, Vince wouldn't want to blink. But if USA gave him pressure, because what does USA care? What does TNT care? If they're going to do better, get a higher demo number, be able to sell more advertising, you would think it'd be a win for everybody. My one thing about that would be, I think it'd be a bad. Let me ask you this. Is the Wednesday Night War in its entirety a selling point for NXT? Meaning, the WWE loyal, the anti-AEW people are more compelled to watch NXT because they feel that
they're sticking it to them because it's on the same night, same time.
If NXT is by itself in a vacuum, I don't at some point out of desperation, wouldn't Vince just start to mold that into yet another main roster show?
Yeah, that's what he should do.
People would start. Well, I don't know if that would be a selling point for NXT though. I don't know that wouldn't get left behind and its ratings would start to erode. I firmly believe that AEW is still building its. I think they have a loyal base that is still being built. I mean,
that's evidenced by the numbers on Saturday.
NXT might find its numbers eroding if they don't have the Wednesday Night War as a hook.
I don't know, man, because we just saw the last 2 weeks when they weren't going head to head, their numbers went up. It's the best numbers they'd gotten in a while. I don't know how many people are watching NXT just despite AEW. I think if people watch NXT by and large because they like NXT, and I don't think people are just going to watch NXT because they don't like AEW. If they don't like AEW and are indifferent towards NXT, they probably just won't watch either.
Probably right. Just bringing it to the table. Thought it was an interesting conversation.
Our Lopez Ortiz, it's really refreshing to see cross-promotion wrestling after the chokehold WWE has had on the USA. In the USA. Gosh, I can't talk. I agree.
Let's see here. This is a great question. Moses supposes, in 1 year, who would you like to see as the champions in AEW?
In 1 year?
In 1 year, I'd like to see X-Lax as the tag champions in AEW.
Hangman Page is the world champion.
The TNT champion needs
Scorpio
to be...
Sky. Have him win it. Give him a super long reign with it.
I want Brodie Lee to win it and keep it for the next year.
There you go.
What about the FTW champion?
Jeff Cobb. Say Jeff Cobb shows up.
What a great answer.
Steezy Preezy. Oh, women's title.
Oh. I would want that to be Allison Kay.
Good answer. Steezy Preezy, the Battle Royal is stacked. Who's the favorite to win, and who's your dark horse pick? Also, think the FTW belt should be the Haas title. I think he's trying to say.
I think it should be like the
badass
I don't know.
title.
It should be the badass title. I think it should be like Darby Allin should be able to win that title. Like it should just be like.
It should be for a style of wrestling more so than
like grudge wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, who's your pick to win this Battle Royal? We know you know the full field. Based on who we know, who's your pick?
Okay, let me ask you something. The rest of the field, could 8 of them be in that 8-man match next week? The Cardona, Sky.
Yeah,
because that's
possible.
next week. I think that's probably 8 of the next. Because who are they fighting? They're fighting
Dark Order.
Dark Order. There's going to be Dark Order in it. So yeah, it seems like that's going to be basically in the 2 other guys. Okay, who won it last year?
Page did.
Oh wow, that's right. That's a pretty big precedent right there. And then he cashed it. Okay, so it's got to be a high profile.
Well,
guy.
he won the one at Double or Nothing. I don't remember if there was one at All Out last.
There wasn't one at all. It wasn't. Where was the Diamond Dozen, or was that on Dynamite?
That was on Dynamite.
That was on Dynamite.
Because Page won the buy-in Battle Royal at Double
All
or
Out
Nothing.
was there was a women's battle royal.
All right,
apparently,
there you go.
That's what
That's
Hero
right.
Long Heavy.
That's right. Yeah, Nyla Rose won that.
Who wins it? Well, we can say some people who aren't going to win it. Darby Allin's not going to win it. He had a title shot. There's no way MJF is winning this title, by the way.
No. Of the people that we know are in the match, I'm going to say Lance Archer. He and Mox have some history in New Japan. They put on a pretty fun match for the U.S. title during Wrestle Kingdom. And that should be really good. It's a good kind of intermediary feud for Mox to get him through.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Dude, Archer's going to lose another big title fight.
Sadly.
That was my first inclination as well, and then I just thought, I was like, he's gonna lose another title shot. This is a great comment. It's not even really a question, but Call Me Sir Vic says, be honest, does anybody feel instantly colder than Matt Cardona? Why hasn't he spoken a single word? He hasn't said I can't think of a less. He feels like, and I think he is, because that's what you mentioned, because you had heard this. He only signed like a couple matches, right?
Yeah, like a 5 appearance deal, but then he's been saying that he wants to sign a long-term deal with the company.
He feels not committed. You know what I mean?
Or the inverse, AEW feels not committed.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the
whatever.
thing, though. I wonder now, too, that Cody's out. He's out there, stand up to the Dark Order. You'd think to defend Cody's honor. Maybe next week he gets a microphone.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool, because it really seems like he's not doing anything. Because he looks amazing. It's just odd to see a WWE guy who looks amazing. He's in phenomenal shape. Mm-hmm. And then he just sort of comes out in these really like middling ways.
Yeah, no, he was even the first one out to make the save.
I know. All right. Anyways, is that it for the show?
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow night for our SmackDown recap right here at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Everybody watching us, though, on YouTube and in the audio realm, thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. Enjoy tons of bonus videos, including patron-only live shows, gameplay, and vintage 10 for the wins, access to podcast question threads, the Friendo Care Package, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steve and Larson.